If I had my life to live over again, I would have made a rule to read some poetry and listen to some music at least once every week. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. If the misery of the poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. The love for all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man. We stopped looking for monsters under our bed when we realized that they were inside us. I am not apt to follow blindly the lead of other men. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us, and I, for one, must be content to remain an agnostic. The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. Intelligence is based on how efficient a species became at doing the things they need to survive. Blushing is the most peculiar and most human of all expressions. One general law leading to the advancement of all organic beings, namely, multiply, vary, let the strongest live, and the weakest die. In the long history of humankind, and animal kind too, those who learned to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. Besides love and sympathy, animals exhibit other qualities connected with the social instincts which in us would be called moral. We must, however, acknowledge, as it seems to me, that man with all his noble qualities still bears in his bodily frame the indelible stamp of his lowly origin. We can allow satellites, planets, suns, universe, nay, whole systems of universe to be governed by laws, but the smallest insect we wish to be created at once by special act. Nothing is easier than to admit in words the truth of the universal struggle for life, or more difficult, at least I have found it so, than constantly to bear this conclusion in mind. Great is the power of steady misrepresentation. Freedom of thought is best promoted by the gradual illumination of men's minds, which follows from the advance of science. Man in his arrogance thinks himself a great work, worthy of the interposition of a deity. More humble, and I believe truer, to consider him created from animals. For the shield may be as important for victory as the sword or spear. It is always advisable to perceive clearly our ignorance. To kill an error is as good a service as, and sometimes even better than, the establishing of a new truth or fact. We are not here concerned with hopes or fears, only with truth, as far as our reason permits us to discover it. We are always slow in admitting any great change of which we do not see the intermediate steps.
Which quote did you like the most? Share your opinion in the comments. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't regret missing life-changing advice from some of the greatest thinkers in history.